All right, let's go through all the altcoin. Starting with APT, we have 15 coins in alphabetical order. There's no dear or preferred coin here. It's just simply in alphabetical order. Okay, so this is encouraging. So we had critical support APT last week, and we said if this is broken, then that's not good as far as the trend is concerned. This week it has really made progress, as we can see. So if it continues to move and break above 7.7 and so on, then consider that the recovery attempt is in progress. Ultimately, it has to break above 11.1 for it to make R1 again and higher, right? So that's the technical level to be considered. Atom is also now above the support, which is good news. So I didn't bother to add one more support because unless someone requests, I could add, but it was mentioned in my call that all the recent lows from the last week is a point of reference. So Atom is about the support, which is good. We would like Atom to be back on about 11.9 or 12, let's say. Then that would be really great. AVAX also bounce as other coins. So what we're going to see, in my opinion, is something similar. Percentage wise, the strength of different coins could be different, but more or less everything is bouncing. All the coins are bouncing. And last week's low, or in some cases, this week's low marginally is the reference. So whatever is the lowest last week or this week's low, that could be the reference point. So BNB is bouncing. BNB didn't break below this low, December low, which is good news, right? So this we can say this is a heavy resistance zone now. I mean support zone, my bad. This particular one, I can redraw like this one because covering this one and this one is a heavy zone. So this is still consolidation, a boring one, but what can you do? This is how it is. Dogecoin is also bouncing off this. So it is, we can say it's holding up the support. And yeah, once it is back to 0.075, then we can say now this is good. Still, this is like, again, from gain point of view, there's no gain. Of course, it's moving sideways, no, but we know that once it starts moving, it has ability to make big move like this. So we had to wait for that moment. At this moment, it's not showing sign of a huge move, right? But what we're seeing is it didn't make any new low, which is positive. EGLD also trying to break above S1, which was broken last week. So once it is above, then we say good, but it will be wonderful once it breaks above the green level, which is 50.55. Ethereum is one of the strongest altcoin, we know that. So it is similar to BTC in many ways. If you draw a simple trend line, support line, or trend line like this, you can figure out that it's still holding up pretty well. Very similar. So this is good, right? Nothing much to add. So these are the two resistances going to face along the line. FET also bouncing well. I think looking good. It would be wonderful if we see it re-enters into this orange box, which we have to keep it, and ultimately 0.5 plus would be the level we want it to. So this is like a leg up and a leg down and like counter trend, because it was too high and too steep. Probably it also. So this is what happens when the correction happens. It kind of averages out sometimes. So when you look at this, FET was a hero, and when you look at this, FET was zero. I mean, mentally, psychologically. But this is what it does. When it pumps hard, then it could dump also hard and averages out. Filecoin is still, so we can say this is a retest of the lowest point. And as I mentioned earlier, I think nothing much changed as far as direction is concerned. This is still in a consolidation zone, huge one. So from a big picture point of view, we can say this is the first attempt, then a low, second attempt, no new low, which is good news. So this is good. So once it makes new high above this, then we can say this it has bottomed technically, especially. So if it closes weekly close above R2 would begin a new leg on the upside. So that will be the ultimate achievement, I would say. So we can consider a leg down, another leg down, but there is no new leg down, which is this is what is encouraging, right? So it's not doing great as right now, but we can say not breaking below this level is something encouraging. So once it breaks above, who knows? It may get momentum. We don't know that. Nobody knows that. But one thing I know that it has ability to make huge move like this. You see that. So once it breaks above, if it starts making huge move like this, then it can change the scenario. FTM has gone down, touched the lower support. So this arrow is gone. This is done because now it's bouncing. We would like to see it back to 0.39 and ultimately should be able to break above 5.6. Then we can say it wants to go higher. My arrow is higher. Maybe I should say once it breaks above green, then we can expect this path from a technical point of view. So yeah, at this moment, it's still here. We would like to see it higher within this box. Next is Matic. Matic is bouncing pretty good. So this was the support we added. As you could see, this is expanding pattern, which I had highlighted earlier, touching this low. So when you project this one, it gives you like loudspeaker kind of pattern. Right? This is expanding pattern, and within this expanding pattern, this gives you the range, basically the upper range and a lower range, and within that there is movement. Don't try to find pattern within this, because then it's not in your hand in a way. We had tried to say this is like a baby pattern, but when the market corrects, global market corrects, this is something unwanted happens. But as far as this expanding pattern is concerned, it could handle it, right? So this is still intact that way. However, the internal pattern that we had got expanded. So earlier we were expecting that okay, now it would go up from this, but then it kind of prolonged. That's it. So we have to readjust accordingly. But the boundary hasn't changed. The boundary hasn't changed. So far so good. And of course, when there is direct attack from a major regulatory body like SEC, this kind of drop is expected because people get panic. So it is so obvious. When you see coin like Matic, Solana, and some other coins which are like beaten up badly, it makes total sense. We said we'll keep near if it can stay above the red line, which is the critical line we had added. It stayed above, so we give a chance and we continue to keep it, right? It makes sense. However, it has to break above 1.8. I mean, in this area, it has to come back and ultimately it has to break above the green level for it to move ahead. RNDR, as I mentioned, is one of the strongest, in fact, the strongest coin, even stronger than BTC or we can compare to BTC. It's as strong as BTC. So Ethereum, BTC, and RNDR, these are the three top coins within this 15 coin list. If I have to rank top three, of course, the ranking could change as the situation change. You never know, right? When the momentum changes, the ranking could change. And I don't want to rank 1 to 15. It is like you can, relative to the support level, you can figure it out. But if I have to highlight top three right now, India is one of them. So of course, once this is broken above, it is likely to react near 3.31, and then because it's a resistance, and then go up. So recent move on the downside is more of a markets. Sometimes what happens, the coin has its own algorithm and demand supply proposition. But then when there are crypto level, I would say overall crypto market level risk or activity, then those also change. And the biggest one is the macroeconomic factors, which we talk about, like Fed's decision or any inflationary data or job related data or any other liquidity related, those kind of factors. play a major role. Any bank related event, but those are usually short term. The long term is always the Fed's decision, in my experience. The interest rate is the key driver because credit money is what it needs. Speculative asset, so we can imagine. Okay, so what I said for near, I would say the same for the sand coin. Nothing changed. Everything is delayed because of the drop, right? So that's why the path would also change like this. So this it's bouncing. As long as it's above red line, we'll keep it. If not, then we'll have to replace it. SOL also bouncing. Now it's heading like breaking above 50.5. In fact, broken, and now it's above, which is good. So bounced off this lowest level, then above S1, and now progressing, which is good. So once we would like to see it above green level. I think once it breaks above green level, it could do differently, because what we would like to see is this kind of momentum, which actually there was a hint right over here, but not long enough. So this may start. And as I mentioned earlier, this was also attacked directly, so it makes total sense why it did. This kind of panic sell. This is panic selling, nothing else. There's no fundamental change as far as solid coin is concerned. So totally all right. In fact, sometimes this could give um unexpected advantages, because when it was here and it was going to go up, let's say from technical point of view and also fundamental demand point of view, but all of a sudden some unforeseen market event occurs where we have to adjust ourselves and retune our analysis and also planning, I would say. It has to happen. But so this kind of surprising thing could actually end up with opportunity, right? Depends how one can handle it. One has to understand that if I'm entering now, what is my exit level based on the risk appetite, individual's risk appetite, and so on, right? So this was like a support, and as I mentioned last time, this is not deep enough where it could jeopardize this particular recovery. This is pretty deep, but not deep enough. Okay, so we could in fact say this can be a red level, to be honest, because below this it doesn't make sense. Though this can be the ultimate level, but it is it is always. I mean, technically, this is a support because it bounced off this one, but I would declare this as a critical level because then this is pretty deep. That's why. Okay. With this note, I think I covered all the coins. So everything looks good at this moment. And if BTC continues, then I think all these coins should improve because that's how it works, right? Yeah. Feel free to ask me if any question. So far, so good. Thank you, everyone.